Hello. This is the Smile Revolution Show, and I am Princess Wow, also known as Mindy Fradkin. Some people only know me as Mindy Fradkin. Some people only know me as Princess Wow. So I usually say both. Well, anyway, we raise awareness to the healing power of a genuine smile. Sincere smiles only apply. Now, this mission of mine started in 2005 when my dad passed away, and he gave me a big smile. And I had a radio show many years ago with well-known musicians like Pete Seeger, Richie Havens, Arlo Guthrie, all kinds of local Woodstock musicians in Kingston, New York. And so I just got back into doing interviews in the pandemic. So I really enjoy doing it. And I'm also a hat designer. This is vintage. And I also a singer, songwriter, and a woman of many hats, and solo performer, which I toured a solo show called Ageless Wonders before the pandemic, award-winning, everything. Well, anyway, here we are. So I'm really excited about my show tonight. I have Puma Perl, who is a well-known poet and journalist, writer, and performer. And I met her recently at the Kingston Pop Museum. I actually participated in this show. Well, it's actually still going on, I think, till the 15th. It's fashion, art, and music. My hats are in the show, and we had a great opening weekend. That's where I met Puma Perl and Friends, and Joff Wilson, who, if you saw my show last week, from Soul Cake, and also he's co-founder of Puma Perl and Friends from 2012. Well, anyway, she'll be on in a little bit, but what I want to do is share a few ideas with you. And actually, well, here, I've got these smile quotes that my sister got me, this smile jar. It says, "Don't frown, because your smile is what lightens up the world. And be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind." Dr. Seuss. And let's see, Mr. Rogers, The World According to Mr. Rogers, important things to remember. "There's no normal life that is free of pain. It's the very wrestling with our problems that can be the impetus for our growth. And I hope you're proud of yourself for the times you said yes, when all it meant was extra work for you and was seemingly helpful only to somebody else." And then this book, Age Doesn't Matter Unless You're a Cheese, Wisdom from Our Elders, Catherine and Ross Petras. Let's see, singer Marian Anderson. "Everyone has a gift for something, even if it's the gift of being a good friend." And physicist Albert Einstein said, "The ordinary objects of human endeavor, property, outward success, luxury, have always seemed to me contemptible. I've never looked upon ease and happiness as ends in themselves. Such an ethical basis I call more proper for a herd of swine. The ideals which have lighted me on my way, and time after time given me new courage to face life cheerfully, have been truth, goodness, and beauty." And let's see what else I have here. Oh, somebody wants to say hello. I don't know. She always likes to get in on the action. This is Miss Wow, from a photo of me with my pink wig. This is my real hair, but I have many wigs. And there she's got her smile bag. She just wants to say hello. And you can tell I've done children's shows over the years too. And let's see. Well, Gumby wants to say hi, and Pokey. They wanted to say hi, to give you a big hug and a smile. And let's see now. What else was I going to do here? Let's see. Well, I do have a smile jar. This one is actually something you buy. My sister got this. See, the positive. Let's see. Be positive, smile, enjoy your day. But you can make your own smile jar. I have my own. "Being with my cat Tiggy, also known as the Queen of Wow II." There's a quote. It's what is it? "Time is never wasted when you spend time with a cat." And then "Kindness every day, a journal." It says here, Offer a word of encouragement today. What was it? How did it feel? The next time you have an unpleasant interaction with someone, remind yourself that the other person may be fighting a hard battle. Can you respond with kindness instead of harsh words? And then Laura Molitor, a very good friend of mine who has a band with her twin sister Elizabeth, Rare Birds in Flight, wrote the song for the Smile Revolution, Smile With Me. I have a whole album of Smile songs that I wrote with Roland Musa, my husband. Well, 4 songs, and Laura, and then Ingrid Helt, and then there's a cover song. I'm going to sing a little bit a cappella, and then we're going to go into my interview with Puma. Give me a little smile and take my little smile, and we'll just smile a while so everyone can see. I may not know your name, but our world is the same. With all the fear and pain, a smile can set us free. Smile with me. Laugh with me, love with me, smile with me. I'm not going to sing the whole thing. I just found this tonight. I just felt like singing a little bit of it. Okay, and let's see. So I'm going to give you let's see. I'm going to read a little bit of the bio of Puma Perl. She's a poet, writer, journalist, and performer. She's the author of 2 chapbooks, Ruby True and Belinda and Her Friends, and 3 full-length poetry collections, Knuckle Tattoos, Retrograde, Great Weather for Media, and Birthdays Before and After, Beyond Baroque Books. Her band, Puma Perl and Friends, brings spoken word together with rock and roll and has been performing together since 2012. The core members of the band are Joff Wilson, Sztabnik, and Dave Donen. I hope I'm pronouncing them right. They are sometimes joined by saxophonist Danny Ray and Seaton, Hancock, violinist Walter Steding, and others. Walter was involved with Andy Warhol, and actually the Kingston Pop Museum event is a tribute to Andy Warhol, Antonio Lopez, and Bill Auckland. She's received 3 awards from the New York Press Association in recognition of her journalism, and was the recipient of the 2016 Acker Award in the category of writing. In May of 2021, she curated and performed in 4 shows as part of the HOWL Happening Artist in Residence program. In 2022, she was honored to perform at the Whitney Biennial, New York City, and at the Kingston Pop Museum, in addition to many other venues and festivals. She's performed as a solo feature and with others throughout the United States and Europe. Puma lives and works on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. So here she is. Hello. Hi, Puma.
Hi, Mindy.
It's good to see you.
You too.
I'm so glad we met. I'm just so glad we connected at the Kingston Pop Museum.
It was a pleasure being up there and meeting you, and we're reflecting what happened up there, because here you are, like, all colorful, and I'm like still in black, and that was kind of what it looked like at the Kingston Pop Museum opening. All the Woodstock people were like in these beautiful colors, and all these like little hippie kids were running wild, and we walked in from New York in these like black coats.
Right. I know. It's kind of fun. I know it's fun. I mean, you all look great, though. It's like cool. I just think you're all so cool and you're so talented. So the thing is that back in the 90s, when everybody was wearing black, but I guess, is everybody in New York still wearing black? I don't even know. I don't think so, actually. But you all on the Lower East Side.
I mean, I watched the show. Not everybody. I watched the show last week with Joff Wilson. And he pointed out that the East Village has become very, very colorful among many.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah. And I think that happened even to a greater extent during the pandemic, when you needed to, like, I don't know, lift everybody's spirits and have a lot of things happen in the street, which maybe would not have been happening in the street before. And they still are, these pop-up parades and stuff that are always full of color. I'm still the same. I've looked the same like since 1975. So you can't go by me, but
right. Now it's okay. I mean, it's like
but,
in the 90s, though, everybody wore black in New York because I was living there. Everybody except me.
I guess. I mean, I'm really just
well, because you're always in black, right?
One decade from another, so yeah. But
right,
you're probably right.
Well, because I remember, because I was wearing all these colors back then, and it was like it stood out. Like people could spot me miles away in New York City. You know, it got me a lot of publicity, but that's not why I did it. I felt like I needed some color to uplift me and others, I guess. And
Yeah.
so, but now it's in style. Now you're right; it's in fashion now. Like all the fashion, and I'm watching all the fashion stuff. Fashion. It's a lot of designers because of the pandemic.
That's right. Yeah,
It's
I think
more to
there's a
your
lot.
phone uplifting.
It feels to me like there's a lot more emphasis on fashion, but in a cool way, not in an oppressive way.
Yeah, more original.
Yes.
There's a lot of originality, which is great. I think because of pandemic, a lot of people were just stuck home for years, and now they're like want to be more expressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's exciting. It's actually really cool. And anyway, okay, so what I want to do is show. Let's show one of your. Well, actually, I've got questions too, but I want to show one of your videos.
Okay.
So we'll start with it's not East Village; it's the Lower East Side. Okay, and then we'll come back on.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, all right, here.
Tall, skinny girls and yogurt stands, pop-up galleries, indie bands, and it's the end of the world. It's beginning on grand. End of the world, beginning on grand. It's not the East Village, it's the Lower East Side. It's not the East Village, it's the Lower East Side. Where my father was born, where my grandmother died. She was coming up the steps on East Broadway. She never made it to the top, and I pass it every day. The kids can't live where they used to play. The old are gone, and the new have their way. My father was born on Avenue C. I always lived east of the DMZ. Caught my Dimebags on the mighty D when Avenue D was the place to be. And Avenue B was the place to be. It's the end of the world. Beginning on grand. Pop-up galleries, yogurt stands, $5 coffees and dubstep bands. End of the world, beginning on grand. End of the world, beginning on grand. There's a Holiday Inn on Delancey Street. It used to be a place where the junkies meet. If you didn't come correct, you were gonna get beat. Now there's a Holiday Inn on Delancey Street. A Holiday Inn on Delancey Street. And it's not the East Village, it's the Lower East Side. Not the East Village, the Lower East Side. Village, it's the Lower East Side. Good Friday processions and Chinese French fries. Projects, bodegas, speakers on the sill. Kids in wheelchairs, fire drills. Not the East Village, the Lower East Side.
So cool. You're so talented. It's just like amazing. I just love this quote. Actually, I just want to read this quote that I found tonight from Elizabeth Gray, the writer. I'm just going to read it because I just love it so much. Puma Perl and Friends is art at its best, collaborative, thrilling, and authentic. There's no posturing. It's poetry and music in its own divine experience. I think she really captured your work.
She's an excellent writer. I'm like proud that she's my friend. She's a wonderful person and writer. Yeah.
Yeah. It just really, because when I first heard you, I was like, what? It's so powerful what you're doing.
Thanks.
And then with the music, it's just the whole thing. It is like a divine experience.
Well, that's original music by Joff Sztabnik. At the end, I only saw my name. I think it should have his name at the end also.
That's Joe's music?
Yes, that's Joe's music, and he put it together in his basement. What we used to call the bunker during the pandemic. We were streaming a lot of live shows out of there.
Uh-huh.
So, and he's the one that put the whole video together. I sent him pictures, and he decided what to use, and he zoomed in and out, and he did all the technical work. And I'm not sure, we might have Dave Donen on percussion on that one, but I don't remember now. Or he might have just used the drum machine, but that was his original music.
Oh, okay. All right. So he's going to be on my show. We just haven't gotten a date yet.
Yeah.
It's Joe. How do I pronounce his name?
Sztabnik.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So whoever is watching either live or on replay, he will be on my show soon. I just don't have a date yet. And so he's one of your regulars in your band, right?
Right. And before
Joe and Joff Wilson.
Joff and Dave. And before that, it was more in flux, like flexible with a lot of different people. But I had started opening a lot for Joe's band, New York Junk, before the pandemic, like years back. And then organically, he kind of started playing with us too,
Does he still have his other band?
They haven't been that active lately just because of logistical reasons that happened during the pandemic of not being geographically in the same place.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, but we'll talk to you about that next week.
Yeah, right. So in the meantime, he's mostly right now doing solo or with your band, right?
He's doing a lot solo. Yeah.
Oh, he is doing a lot solo. Yeah, because I heard a couple of his songs at the opening.
Right.
And I really liked it. I thought he was fantastic too.
And one of them, Gutter Angels, that was with my lyrics and his music. Again, we had started really getting like a good vibe between my lyrics and his original music. So we have a whole bunch of songs by now, and two of them are included on his new solo acoustic album called Grace and Madness. And Grace and Madness is one of my poems. So.
Oh, great. Okay, great.
Maybe three of them actually are included. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so when did you start writing poetry?
I don't know.
Probably when you were born. Probably when you were a child, right?
I don't think I was really writing poetry as a child, but writing was something that I was good at. And I wasn't good at a lot of things, but I was good at that. So it was like writing the best compositions in the class and that sort of thing. And then, they would call it like creative writing, let's say in junior high school. Right. But I don't remember really that it was poetry that much, so much later on.
You were
and
just
then I picked it up and stopped and picked it up. And I said, I'm not writing any more poetry. Poetry sucks. And then all of a sudden I was writing poetry.
Okay, right. And when was, you grew up on the Lower East Side, right?
No, I didn't grow up on the Lower East Side.
That's right. Where did you grow up, in Brooklyn?
I grew up in Brooklyn, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
But the heritage is from the Lower East Side and, going back further east in Europe, but yeah.
Right, like most of us, right? Okay.
Like most of us Jews.
Right, yeah. So, okay, so when did you have your first work published?
My first work, I had 2 poems published the same year in 2 different journals, and I think it was 2007. I don't think I was published before that. I had never really understood how you get published, so I had the confidence to seek being published, and it was really the internet that changed everything. And then social media changed everything even more, because at that time, like, we were all on MySpace.
Right.
And all of these poets somehow started interrelating and connecting, and some of them are still my friends now.
Oh, wow.
You know, and my first book, the chapbook, Belinda and Her Friends, that was published in 2008. So I had a whole book published in 2008. So I have to think I started getting published probably in 2007. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. And then you're also a journalist.
Yes, I used to write for The Villager.
Oh,
And then at a certain point, and this was right before the pandemic, also like in 2018, 2019, they got sold to like a big corporate entity. And they're now like kind of incorporated into AMNY. And anyway, they fired the editors that I like to work with. So
okay.
I could have stayed on freelancing for them, but I was like, really, like, fuck you, you know?
Okay.
And I felt very loyal to my editor, Scott Stifler, and he started his own site, Chelsea Community News. And now I write for him.
Okay. Okay. And then I read you also produced what was it, Puma Pandemonium for years?
Puma Perl Pandemonium. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. You know, also, it was very organic, just the same way my band was very organic. It was my friend Raps, who used to be the bartender at Happy Hour. She said, hey, you know, we're going to celebrate 6 months of Happy Hour. You want to come do a couple of poems? And I said, well, maybe I could bring a couple of musicians, or maybe, you know. So I did a little show, and it was like very well liked and successful, and it started happening regularly. And I did it quarterly. I chose not to do it monthly, because monthly, it's like, it quarterly made it more of an event, you know. And the last show was January 2020. The next one planned was April 2020. We all know what happened then.
Right, yeah.
You know, and with that big gap of that whole like shutdown, that whole pause, it wasn't something that I was able to like develop again.
Okay.
Time passed, but it had 8 years. We had 8 years of a lot of fun doing that show.
Oh, that's great. So now, how did you meet Joff Wilson?
I had met Joff from different clubs that we went to, different bars that we went to. I mean, everybody in the East Village knows Joff. I think everybody knows Joff.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
He's a very friendly person, and he's a very inclusive person. And if he sees you and he knows you do something, he'll be like, oh, come up on stage, you know, which is kind of how Puma Perl and Friends was formed. I knew him from his band, the Bowery Boys, and he used to host something at Otto's, like every week he would do what Frank Wood used to call the Sofa Jam. At the end of the night, there was a wind down Sunday night that a lot of our friends went to, including the people that you met. And Joff used to kind of orchestrate the jam afterwards. So we went from there and from many other places. And it just happened to be that, and he doesn't remember this story. Like, I give him credit for co-founding Puma Perl and Friends, and sometimes I think he doesn't even realize he really did that.
He doesn't realize
he really did that. So after Hurricane Sandy, Tukasa, which was a recording studio on Avenue B, they put together a benefit for musicians affected by Hurricane Sandy, and that was at the Bowery Electric. And I was part of it, and Joff was part of it, but not together. I was part of it reading some poems solo, and Joff had a band, and there was an empty slot at the end. It was actually because David Peel got mad at having a late slot and walked out. So Joff had to throw together one of his bands, and he said, why don't you come up and do a couple of poems with this band? Okay. So I did, and then afterwards, Joff and I looked at each other, and we said, I think we may have something here. And then I had a solo poetry reading coming up, and I invited him to play with me, and he said, do you mind if I invite Walter Steding? And I said, do I mind? Like, right. You know, like he's iconic, you know? I mean? Right. So it was me and Joff and Walter, and then it was me and Joff and Walter and Danny Ray as a saxophonist, and then it just kept evolving and evolving until it became more of a tight band than something kind of neat, innovative, and you know,
Yeah, that's really cool. That's great. And Joff is amazing. I adore him. He's such a neat, and he's so talented. What?
He can play any instrument. We were in Rochester, and I turned around and I said, like, who's playing drums? And it was Joff,
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's so talented. He's
Yeah.
just like really
Yes.
gifted. And I keep listening to the Soul Cake EP he gave. I keep listening to it over and over.
Yeah,
And I
he's a
have
very
so
good
many,
songwriter.
he's really talented. They're so, I love the Soul Cake
Yeah.
too. I mean, they're great.
Yeah, me too. And we're really all kind of close, as I guess you saw. And I've done songs with Promise with Soul Cake, and on November 22nd, we'll be at the 11th Street Bar. Soul Cake will open, and then it will be Puma Perl and Friends. We've been doing that quarterly for a while.
Right. Okay, great. And then you've got a show. I'm going to show. Let me show some photos, and then I'm going to show you another video.
Okay.
And I have all your information up here so people can check out your upcoming shows.
Cool.
And everything. Okay. All right. So let me I'm going to show some photos and a video, and we'll be back.
Okay.
Okay.
What in the world?
2, 3, 4. Now.
Oh, what in the world? What in the world can I do? My shoes are still untied. I trip into people's lives and out again. Intimacy as random as a taxi cab. I am a broken basket. Don't put your eggs in me. And like Bowie's Girl, I prefer to stay in my room. My eyes are gray sometimes. It's always sometimes, never forever.
Wait.
My hands are not my hands. They tell their own stories in street Spanish, sign language. A knife in the park, a fall on a Central Park rock, an open artery. The left one, evenly tanned. On the right, a ring made from a fork. It won't come off. I don't remember where I got it, or how it wrapped itself around me. I don't remember names, places, birthdays, or my baby's first words. I remember this morning. Oh, I remember this morning.
Now.
Keys on the coffee table. English muffin, butter melting, hot cup in the car, Lou Reed, Sweet Jane, Chinese proverbs, lives saved like pennies, collected and spent.
Wait. Now.
I made a pact to live until I die by hands other than my own. So what in the world can I do? My shoes are still untied. I trip into people's lives and out again. Intimacy is random as a taxi cab. I am a broken basket. Don't put your eggs in me. Lives saved like pennies, collected and spent. And I made a pact to live. I made a pact to live. So what in the world? What in the world can I do?
That was great. That was great.
And that was Joe's music again.
Oh, good. Okay, great.
Yes, the video.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to show that. Wait a second. I have the credit lines. Hold on one second. You wanted me to show. Here's the credit lines for everybody.
I see. Yeah.
I'll put that on the bottom there.
Yeah, it's always important to acknowledge all these great
Oh, no,
photographers.
definitely. Yeah.
You know, we're
Yeah.
so lucky. We have these amazing photographers that work with us. And I've always considered myself so lucky because as a poet, you know, how many poets really get these class A musicians with them? Like it just, you know, doesn't happen for that many, you know.
Well, my friend Stevie Kalinich, you know who that is?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine from LA. He's wrote with Brian Wilson. He was good friends with the Beach Boys,
Oh,
Brian
okay.
Wilson.
Mhm.
And anyway, so he's got a whole team. He's connected me with some great musicians in LA who I've interviewed, who he also, but he's amazing guy. You should look him up. I told him about you actually tonight.
And he lives in LA?
Stevie Kalinich.
I'll have to look him up. Yeah, LA, I was going out to LA very, very regularly. My most recent book, Birthdays Before and After, was published by Beyond Baroque Press, and Beyond Baroque is really like the home of poetry. And what I love about LA is it's so effortless the way poetry and musicians and actors, everybody merges.
Yeah, there's the whole scene out there. Yeah, I know. It's a very cool scene out there. Yeah, I used to live in LA and I love it, but I love New York too. I like both. I like New York and LA.
I was going
there's a lot of cool people. Oh,
well, you know,
I
had that bad timing that so many of us had of having a book come out, like this one actually, like right before the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
All kinds of plans to go to LA, to go to Beyond Baroque. I was going to go up and down the coast with my friends. Iris Berry, who your friend probably knows, she edited this book and she's a poet. And an LA girl, like a born and bred LA girl, which you don't find that many, you know, most people are from somewhere else. So, yeah, like we had great plans.
Oh, okay.
It still hasn't happened, you know.
All right, so I'll connect you. I told him about you tonight, and he works with a lot of amazing musicians, and he's very connected, and he's a wonderful person. So, and he's been on my show. So I'm going to read this actually. Zoe Hansen, writer artist, said, Puma Perl writes with dagger to the heart directness. Dreams merge as she borrows from pain to understand her strength and purity. This warrior leaves me grinning and a little wiser.
Yeah, she's a good friend of mine who happened to have moved out to LA. She lives in LA now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you've got a lot of amazing reviews on your poetry book. I can't wait to read one of your poetry books.
I'll have to get it to you. I will.
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. That'd be great.
Send me your information later, and I'll send you.
Thank you. Yeah, that'd be great. So anyway, what else am I going to ask you? Let's see. Now, what helps you smile and gets you through life to keep going and creating?
You know, I was looking at Smile, you know, behind you, and I was thinking of the Lauren Nero album called Smile. Are you familiar with it?
Well, I've got some Laura Nero albums. I'm not sure if I have the Smile one though.
Smile, yeah, one of her last ones. I don't know. Dogs make me smile. My dog makes me smile. You know.
You have a rescue dog, right?
I do. Yeah. Yes.
I always have rescue cat. I have a rescue cat. All my cats are rescues over the years.
Yeah, this one's from, she was rescued in Tijuana, like dying in the street, you know.
Oh.
Yeah. So, dogs in general make me smile. Like I take it to the dog park every day, and it's just like they make me laugh, and what keeps my creativity going. I don't know. You know, like I guess with all artists, it's kind of up and down. You know, there are times I'm feeling like I have nothing to write, you know, and then stuff starts to flow, and then, you know, our shows. Fortunately, I always have shows to look forward to. Like this Monday, we have a monthly residence at Anyway Cafe, which is on 34 East 2nd Street in Manhattan. It's a little, very intimate Russian cafe, and great food, vodka infused martinis. You know, it's a nice get together. like a lot of friends come. So
That
having
sounds
those
great.
shows, it really helps. It'd be really empty without having these shows to look forward
Right. Yeah. Right. So, right. Exactly. If you were just writing, but you
to.
have
Yeah,
your shows. Exactly. But you have your shows.
yeah, because you need some kind of, for me, well, maybe everyone doesn't. I mean, Emily Dickinson wrote in her room, right? But for me, I need some type of vibe happening in my life where I could really fall into nothingness, So
Yeah, me too. I'm the same way. I mean, I write, I've written a solo show and I write and stuff too, but I need to be on stage and be interacting,
but
performing.
like during the pandemic, I had a weekly poem published and a photographic essay in Chelsea Community News. Like I was able to do that somehow, you
You
know.
had wait, I actually was going to ask you what you did in the pandemic. So you had a poet, wrote a poet every week that was published?
Yeah, yeah. It was published in Chelsea Community News with my original photographs, and I did that. I don't know, the first whole year. Like I was able to do that because I guess under duress we can do a lot of things.
Right. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, that's great. That's really neat. So right, obviously, did you do any performing on Zoom or anything, or did some shows with your
I
musicians?
just well, Joff and Soul Cake were doing a lot of things, and he mentioned it last week, like on rooftops and in
Right,
the
the
park,
rooftop.
and I got to do a few things with them.
Okay.
Yeah, and they started doing Anyway Cafe before we did. I mean, they were playing like it was freezing out. We were all like outside watching them through the windows, like you couldn't even go in. And
Oh,
so
wow.
Joe and I were both going every week, and not every week, every month, I guess. And at some point, they asked us if we would like to perform there. So we started doing some stuff there, and things, started opening up. So I did what I could. I did some things on Zoom. I mean, I don't love doing things on Zoom, but I also took, I think, 3 poetry workshops on Zoom, which I probably wouldn't have done had I been out with a very favorite poet of mine, Kim Anicio, who's always been one of my very favorite living poets. So it was great to kind of like workshop in a small workshop with her. So I did that on Zoom, and I did some other things
Right.
on Zoom,
Yeah.
and then I guess the main thing we did that wasn't live. Well, it was live. It was live streaming. Joe and I did our shows from the bunker, his basement.
Oh, good. Okay, I'll have to look that up. I'd like to see those.
We did it like pretty much monthly.
Oh,
And it was a
cool.
good time because everybody it was on Facebook Live, so everybody would be chatting and all our friends would be in the chat room.
Right. That's
And
how I started in the
yeah,
pandemic, was doing Facebook Lives, and I was
yeah,
doing, baking shows and dance for. I was
yeah.
doing all kinds of stuff and promoting my musician friend. It was like, yeah,
So
that's how
so
I
we
got through it. Yeah.
had a good time doing that. And I think it kind of prepared Joe and I to be able to do things as a duo and pull off like an hour show, when
That's
we've been
great.
asked to do
Well,
it.
there's
So,
definitely a lot of silver linings in
yeah,
the pandemic.
yeah. So, we weren't consciously rehearsing for anything, but it did turn
But
out.
you really were. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's great. Okay. Was there anything that else you want to say before we wrap it up?
No, I'll just say if anybody wants to get any of my books, they are available, and I suggest bookshop.org because they support independent bookstores.
Oh,
You
okay.
I mean, they're on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and all that, but
Right.
bookshop.org is a really good place to shop for books. And
Okay, great.
yeah, and if you're in New York and you're listening, and if you're in the city, maybe we'll see you Monday.
Yeah. And then you have it every month.
Monthly. It's
You have a
always
monthly.
it's always the second Monday.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. It's the second Monday every month
Mhm.
at Anyway Cafe. Oh, that's great.
Right.
Okay. Well, I'm so glad to connect with you tonight.
Me too.
And I'm so glad to meet you. And I'm a big fan. And I can't
Thank
wait
you.
to read your new poetry book.
Thank you
And
so much.
and
You message me offline, and I'll get a book.
yeah, well, okay. Thanks so much. And so it's bookshop.com,
Org.
bookshop.org.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to order one of her
Yes.
books.
Or they
Okay.
can go to Amazon if it's
Or
easier.
Amazon. I know you're on Amazon too. Okay, great. All right. Well, very good. It's really great to be with you. And I'll be talking to you soon.
Okay.
Thanks, Puma. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed Puma's work and her, and she's so inspiring. And so I'm going to leave you. I've got Richard Barone, Richard Barone, who's a very dear friend of mine, who has a new book out, and is, works with Donovan and many people. He's going to be on my show. He's been on my show before, but he has promised to be on my show again because he has this new book out that's amazing. I don't have the title in front of me, but it's about Greenwich Village in the 1960s and music scene, music and revolution, music plus revolution. It's an amazing book. I'm reading it. It's like riveting. And then I've got Candy John Carr, who was Donovan's bongo player, who I know Puma knows, and a lot of people in the Lower East Side know. They live down there. Anyway, he's going to be on my show, and Rob Bonfiglio with the Brian Wilson Band, and Carney Wilson, and Wendy with the Wilson Phillips, and Joe Sztabnik. I've got all these people, but I don't have definite dates yet. So we'll be in touch. I'll let you all know. And keep smiling, keep sweet. Join the Smile Revolution. Lots of love. Bye.